Welcome back, guys. This is the part 2 of our C# programming tutorials. We're going to discuss about the input and output as well as data, variables, and data types in C#. So let's go back to our previous project in C# from the part 1, my first app. So here we just printed a word welcome to C# programming using the console, the right line. We'll elaborate more about the console. So if we look closely at the console and hover on our mouse on it, you will see that it is belong to class system. As we discussed previously, system is one of the required library that you need to run a C# program. Now if you click the console, then press F12, Visual Studio will open the file where the interfaces for the class console is written. These definitions are written by Microsoft. As you can see, it is under the namespace system. You will see also all of the properties and methods below, and here's the write line. Write line is the method that we need if we want to print anything in the console. As you can see, there are other write line that can accept different types, not just string, but float, int, uint, long, and ulong, object, and so on. Okay, so now let's go back here in our program.cs. So all you need to remember is that there are a lot of codes that can be used to support our programming task, and we will be discussing it every time we use them in our programming examples, like the console class. Okay, so let's try to print again another string. So let's add how is your day. Okay, so let's run this first to check if the output is correct. Okay, so here is our another printing. So you need to run it using the Control F5 command, as we discussed in the previous video. Now as you can see, there is also a method which is write. So let's try to use the write, and then run the program. Now as you can see, the string how is your day is printed right after the word programming. And the difference between the write line and write is that write line has a new line at the end of it. So it means that whatever string you're going to print will be printed below it if you are using the write line. When you use the write line, it means that the next output to be printed will be printed on the next line, while the write will not do that. It will going to print the next string right after in the same line of where the string ends. So it is a minor difference, but it is important that you know it in the class console. Next is how to receive an input and use it in our program. Because most of the programs are user driven, it means that we need user interactions like clicking at the button, selecting a value, typing on an input box or a text box, and so on. But in console application, the only event that we can trigger is the enter key, or pressing the enter. So if we press enter, that is the trigger that we need. So whatever we type on the command window should be captured by our program. And pressing the enter is the way to send those commands to our program. So let's change our code here. So let's say you're asking the name of the user. Now the command that we need to get the input from the user is the read line. So as you can see, it reads the next line of characters from the standard input stream. And our standard input stream in our program is the command window. Now if we run this, you will notice that the text press any key to continue that previously appeared does not appear right now because it is waiting for our input by using the read line command. Now we can type anything. Let's say John Wick. Then press enter. And then the press any key to continue appears now. When you see the press any key to continue, it means that our program is now terminated or it is already ended. But what happened to our input? So our program processes the input but does not do anything. So it receives the value. Now let's try this one. Let's include the console readline command inside the write line command. So hello there. Then we append the read line together with the word welcome to C# programming by using the plus sign here. Okay, let's try to run this again. When we run this program and enter a string, okay, so here it is. We capture the value and use it and print it on the console. But this style is not just flexible because most of the time you need the data to be used later. Because after the call of the read line inside the write line method, the value is gone if you use it like that. So it is better to store it in our program temporarily. To store the value, we need a way to hold the particular value inside that thing which we called variable. So a variable is a container that belongs to a specific type. So those types are string, text, numbers, date and time, and so on. So for example, let's use first the string type. So to declare a variable, you need to type first the type name, all in lowercase, so string, then the variable name, then let's assign some initial value to it, which is a double quote, which is empty string. Now to assign a value in a variable, do the following. So name is equal to console.readline, and then change this code and use the name variable. So name. So let's add first some comments. So I am annotating the program so that other programmers, when they read this, will understand what the code is doing. So this is a single line comment. Starts with /. This one is a multi-line comment. So it starts with / and asterisk. If you press enter, it will generate another line with an asterisk, and then it ends with another /. Now you can enter any comments within like this. So you can annotate the whole program, like this program shows how to get the input, then you can put another text below it. So that's why it is a multi-line. So here's now our program. Now if we run the program, so Control F5. So what is your name? So John Wick. Hello there, John Wick. Welcome to C# program. So the output doesn't make any difference from our previous code, but we have saved temporarily our value and can be used to other parts of our program if we want to expand our application. So you might also notice that our editor is color coded. For keyword, it is blue, like string, static, class, and namespaces. Okay, so let's proceed. Let's delete this first and create another example. So this time we're going to discuss about the variables and data types in C#. If you are declaring a variable, there are some rules that you need to follow. So first, C# is a case-sensitive language. So if I declare a variable like this, string my name, you should use variable as my name and not my name with an uppercase M. So as you can see here, so the my name does not exist in the current context. So because C# will look on the variable with my name which does not exist, so it will report to you as an error. So you should use instead the proper case according to the declaration of your variable. Second, variable names can contain letters, digits, and an underscore character. So like this. My first game life 25, or my first game life underscore 25 is equals to empty string. So you can do that in the declaration of your variable. But this green underscore that's right here is a warning. It means that you declared the variable but you did not use it in any way. So you just assigned a variable. You just assigned a value to it. You can also declare a variable started with a underscore, but it is not recommended at the beginning of the name. So you should stick that variable name starts with a alphabet. And lastly, C# keywords can't be used as variable names. Keywords are part of the language. So if we search C# keywords, so let's open the official Microsoft documentation for C#. Here is a list of keywords that C# supported and you cannot use as a variable name. So in your editor, there are warnings that you are using a keyword. So one of them is the color coded. So if we use a variable using a keyword, so let's say like this, string and float. So string and float are both data types and they are keywords, so you cannot declare it. So you can encounter a lot of error. Also, you cannot declare a variable that starts with a number. So let's say string 123 values is equals to 123. So this one contains an error. So the value does not exist in the current context. Okay, so let's do another example. So let's try to declare another variable, string. So as you can see, you can declare a default value on a string like this one. So you are hard coding. So in the programming term, it is hard coding the string in the inside of your code or in your program. So this kind of string is what we call a string literal. This is a declaration with a string literal. Let's talk about another data type, which is numbers. So in C#, numbers are divided into different groups. There are groups for integers, groups for floats, and decimals. If we go back to the official documentation of Microsoft and check for the data types that are supported, for the integer, there are two types, signed and unsigned. Signed values means they can be positive or negative. The unsigned is only 0 and positive. So we have s byte short, int long, byte short, u short, u int, and u long, char. For decimal, so we have decimal, and for floating point we have double and float. So let's try them in our program. So let's declare a variable my age is equals to 25. Let's print the value. You can do like what we did last time in the string, which is my name. So here I printed the my age is and the value of my age, which is 25. So here is the output. You can also declare a double like this one. Integers are whole numbers, and doubles can hold values with the decimal point, which is, as you can see here, 89.90. So if you print it, so here is our output. Let's declare another variable, which is float. So if we declare float pi is equals to 3.1415. So there is an error in the value 3.1415, because if you type an actual decimal value like 3.1415, the compiler assumes that it is of type double, and you cannot assign from double to float implicitly. What you need to do if you want the float to be of type float is you need to add the lowercase f or uppercase f after the value, so like this one. Okay, and we can print. So how are we going to receive these number values? First, let's declare a variable type int and type double. So 90 and 45. And then let's create a variable that holds the sum of these values. Now if we sum them, num1 plus num2, you can see that there's an error. Cannot implicitly convert type to double to int. An explicit conversion exists. Are you missing a cast? So our programs is suggesting that we need to do a typecasting to convert a particular type to another type. So this time, so in this program, we need to convert the double to int so that we can add them and assign it to a sum. So to do a typecasting, the syntax for typecasting is adding the open and close parentheses before the name of the variable where you are going to use it, and then the type you need to convert it to. So this time the num2, since it is double, that is the one that we need to cast to int. And then here it is, so we don't have an error anymore. We can also do this, convert the whole result from num1 to num2 to int. So we group the num1 and num2 to open and close parentheses, and then cast the value to int. The root of the problem here is that if you add num1 and num2, the num1 is int and num2 is double, the result will be double. And so it is double, you cannot put a double value to a integer value. So that is a problem there. So that's why if you sum num1 and num2, it doesn't have any error, but the assignment to sum is the cause of the error. And then you can print the sum. So the sum is the sum variable, which is 135. Now if we change the value of double, so let's add a decimal part, which is, let's say, 45.35. So the value is still a whole number because we converted it to integer. So it means that the 0.35 has been lost due to conversion to integer value. We can also use the convert to class, or to use the convert to, let's rewrite this. It is of type class convert, then to. As you can see, there are other types that you can use that is supported by the convert class. So it will going to convert whatever value you put it into a particular type depending on the method that we are going to use. So in this example, we need to use the int32 and then put the value that you need to convert, which is num2. So if we run the program, so here is our program now. So it is converted to a particular value. Now let's create a complete example with input and output. So let's declare two variables, first number and second number. Then let's prompt the user to enter the first number. Now, how are we going to receive the value from the console? So let's try first. So use the first number variable, then equals to console.readline. Okay, so but there are errors. So the error is cannot implicitly convert type to string. So because readline returns as type string, you cannot put it directly to the variable of type integer. So we need to use a conversion. So let's declare another variable of type string, which is name it as temp, and then change the first number to temp. And then we can assign the value of temp to first number using the convert class. So convert dot to int32, then put the temp inside the open and close parenthesis as parameter. Then we'll do the same for the second number. So temp equals to console.readline. So the original value of temp will be now overwritten by this another method. And then do the same for the second number. Second number is equals to convert dot to int32 temp. And then we can print it now. So the sum of first number and second number is okay. So we don't have the variable sum, so let's declare it here. So int sum is equals to first number plus second number, and then put the sum at, and then put the sum here. Okay, so let's run the program. So enter first number, okay, 67 and 89. The sum of 67 and 89 is 156. So that's the process on how to accept values coming from the console window or command window and convert it to a particular type, so from string to integer. So that's it for now. On our next video, we will explore more about variables, data, and how to use mathematical operations on them. So hit that subscribe button to be updated on these tutorials. See you guys.